Hello guys, so welcome to this week's livestream news coverage of the Japanese DanMemo livestream that happened earlier today. We'll be looking at the two new units in the new banner that we are getting really soon, and everything else that was discussed about in the stream, and details revealed for the is it wrong to get every copy of Hestia, among other things. So we'll look at everything in this video. It's gonna be much shorter than what we usually have with the huge amount of info, because it's not there's not that many new things today, but we are gonna look at the two new units, which is gonna be the, I guess, most important part of the video. But yeah, we are going to be getting the tickets from the worldwide Gacha Tickets 10 million splitting campaign. And the distribution of the Gacha tickets will be on the 30th of July, which is pretty much like 24 hours from now or something of the sorts. So I'm not sure how many we'll be getting each, because it's based on the total amount of logins for every player on every server. But hopefully it's quite a bit, and hopefully we all get good luck from it. So if we read this, the number of Gacha tickets you will receive will increase according to the number of days logged in during the applicable period. So hopefully you logged in as much as you could throughout the last 10 days. Anything else that we need to... Okay, so... Yeah, okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, basically, if you logged in, and depending on how many times you've logged in, you'll get a certain amount of these 3-star tickets, and just hope you get lots of 4 stars from that. That's the important thing. So the voting that we had this week was for the Hestia. I hope you guys all voted for the for Lolly Hestia. And this week we are getting the eyes voting. So I think the Hestia voting is live for like one more day or so, and then the eyes voting is going to go live. So there's going to be, as we had in the past, 5 votes per day received in your presence, and then you will also get some CP items, some cakes for the amount of times you vote, basically. So if we go into the most important part of the video now, we are going to have a new banner, and it is going to be a 2-unit banner, which is usually better for MLBing units, because every time you have a guaranteed unit or a guaranteed pool, so every 1st, 4th, 7th and 10th draw on the 11th pull, you will get a guaranteed unit. And this time, since it's 2 characters instead of 3, you will have a 50% chance of actually receiving them, instead of it being a 33% on the 3 character banners. So yeah, I'm not sure if these are time limited or not. I would assume they are not time limited. Usually the time limited characters have some indication here, so I would assume these aren't time limited. But it might still be worth to summon on them, despite the fact that we are still getting part 3, and maybe some of you guys haven't even completed part 2 yet. So who knows, depending on how competitive you want to be. There is a Familia Wargame coming out, and both of these units are focused on mostly the war games, also the Familia Wargame. But yeah, the first one is an adventurer, the Bell. He is a light magic unit, and his magic stat is a little bit above 1900, so it's not crazy insane, like over 2100 or something, but it's also not bad. He has a good agility stat, close to 1000, but it also could be a little bit higher. So the most important things that we're going to be looking at, obviously, are the skills. His special attack is an ultra light magic attack with high penetration skill damage, and 25% more damage for every strength and magic debuff on the enemies. So this gets up to 50%, so 25% for the assist debuff and 25% for the adventure debuff. And then his skill 1, he does actually apply that adventurer debuff. So he attacks with temporary magic boost, and he does a minus 35% strength and magic debuff for 3 turns, and then also additionally reduces the debuffs on your allies by 2 turns. So he's a unit kind of similar to what we had in the past with Winter Haruhime, where she did a skill and she decreased the turns of buffs and debuffs. So debuffs on your allies and buffs on your enemies, because his skill 2 is also a super light magic attack that decreases the buff length by 2 turns, the enemy buff length. And also he has the 2 additional extra actions like we saw with Kaguya, which are low hitting magic attacks, but these aren't really low, these are quite high hitting because they are light magic attacks. So yeah, it's gonna be similar to the Haruhime, and if you do end up running both of those at the same time, it does actually end up being a 4-turn decrease in buffs and debuffs, which is actually enough to get rid of pretty much any buff and debuff, because I don't think there's many things that last for 6 turns. So 1 turn passes by itself and then it reduces it by 4 turns and you end up having a 5-turn decrease. So if you do run those 2 in combination, you actually can do quite a bit with it. Either you do like some way of reducing all the enemy buffs and debuffs and then killing the enemy, or just reducing the debuffs on yourself to survive longer, and then maybe finish your opponent with an essay attack or so. So he's gonna be used in a kind of semi-stall team, I suppose, in Wargame. He also has a single target ability, which does have plus 20% skill damage for every strength and magic debuff, similarly to his special attack. So yeah, he has crit damage plus 15 and he has dark resist, so I guess that's also good versus the Otaral. And then he also has this plus 20% physical and magical resist, and I'm not sure how good that is or if this is unique to just him, because I don't remember other units specifically having that just as passives. So yeah, he in theory should be good and used, but we like always with wargame units, we do have to see, because for example the Shakti that was out in the last banner isn't getting used yet in wargame. She might be in the future, but I don't know, I guess we kind of overrated her just a little bit, while the Kaguya actually is getting used. So yeah, you really don't know from the get-go for these wargame units. But the Hestia assist that we're getting is a 600 agility and 430 dexterity, so those are the best stats that she has. And she has a skill which reduces the strength and magic of the enemies by 20% and increases the counter rate of your allies by 10%. So 20% is the highest that we have in the game at the moment. We have the Onsen Mikoto and Onsen Hestia, one for strength and one for magic reduction, but those don't have any additional effects and also don't have stats as good as these. So she's pretty much the best debuffing unit for strength and magic at the moment, and she will definitely be used in wargame teams, especially the stall ones. So you can expect to see a lot of her for sure. This I'm pretty confident about, especially because most of what's being used in the past is the Ariadne, both for the reduction in strength or magic, depending on which Ariadne you were using, and also the ailment resist. But we do have the Seer now, which does the ailment resist, so you can use the new Hestia, this one, and the new Seer, and you get both of the effects, all the ailment resistance and the stronger debuff. So you should definitely be looking to use or get a copy, or maybe MLB this Hestia, because she might be really good, especially if you're trying to climb higher in wargame with a stall team, for sure. So we also have the details for the Is It Wrong to get all the 4-star Hestias campaign. So simply log in to get all the 4-star Hestias that have appeared so far, and it doesn't include time limited, like it was mentioned in the past. And basically every day we're gonna get a different Hestia, and you can see the order that we're getting them in this picture. So we start with actually a copy of the new Hestia, which is great. It's one copy that you can get without pulling on the banner, or you can get one more copy towards MLBing her, so it's definitely a good thing they decided to do, to include this Hestia as well. and then we're getting a lot of the other ones over the next days. I'm not sure if this is actually all of them, or it might be a couple of those coming after as well, a couple of the other units. But it does actually look like it's most of them or all of them in this picture. So I guess 14 days is how much time we'll need to get all the Hestia units. So this is great. Other than that, we're getting a record buster this week instead of the war game we had, and it's going to be, I guess, a Revis. It's gonna be a Revis one, and I really don't know what the weakness will be. If I were to guess, I guess it would be a fire weakness because we got a lot of fire units, and maybe also a light weakness because we are getting this new banner with the bell. But we'll always have to see what they decide to do. Usually they do weaknesses that represent the banners that are currently out. So fire, and I guess wind will also be relevant, but we did have the wind one in the past, so yeah, we'll see. Events that are ending this week is the 7th zone, the Familiar Rush, so definitely make sure to do 7th Rush if you haven't done it. There's also additional iris that you can get by clearing the normal difficulty of it, just from the missions, so definitely make sure to do it. War Game's also ending, and the Hestia voting, so yeah. There's also a schedule of some sorts, and this pretty much tells us that, well, it's pretty much a recap of what we talked about, but 7th zone is gonna also happen on the 30th. We're gonna have the gacha with the bell and the Hestia that we introduced, the ice voting, the record buster, and the 31st is when we'll get the first copy of the Hestia. So in 2 days from now you'll get the first copy of Hestia, and then just logging in once a day will get you all the other ones as well. So this will conclude the video for this time. We are getting really close to 200 subscribers, by the way, so if you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe and click on the like button. It helps me a lot and also motivates me to do more videos. And I've also been streaming more regularly on Twitch now, so if you do want to follow me there or catch me on my streams, you can do so, and I'll leave the link in the description below. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!